This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
There's a lot of gray area in that. I can simply make you a prince.
Y'all see my palace?
Where the fuck did that voice just come from? Are you doing stuff? Are you pulling people in here that I don't know about? Because this is a small room, Johnny. Like, I don't even see him. But welcome into the Rick and Johnny Podcast Movie Review Edition. And we've got a whopping, bam, 2 movie reviews for you. This is one of 2. Yeah, you know, my students also do the same thing you do. This is like, when I do the number 2, this is how I do it. I don't hold up the first 2 fingers. I do I call it the baseball thing. Like, all right, there's 2 outs. Index finger, pinky finger for our audio listeners. But they make the same face you just made, Johnny, of like, they put their hand up like this and they go, why? And it's like, this is what I do. But we got 2 movie reviews for you. Aladdin in this one. And then also check out our review on Brightburn, 2 of the movies that we went and saw this week. If you're new to a movie review, how it works. We talk about the movie kind of non-spoilery. Then we jump into a spoiler mode, talk about everything that we want to about the movie with spoilers. Then at the end, we're going to give our MVP, or what we call it, the Show Stealer Award for the movie. And then we give our rating out of 5 lamps for this one. I think it's pretty easy. 5 lamps.
That works.
For Aladdin. Before we get into everything, make sure to check out patreon.com/most valuable podcast. Like I was telling Johnny, we're in a small room here. I'm sweating in this room. This is why I hate this time of the year when it gets humid here in Chicago. Because this room does not have temperature control.
I mean, that's the problem with building a whole city on a swamp.
Well, there's that. And that's the problem of not having your own studio.
That
when
too.
You borrow the studio, we're very gracious that we're able to borrow the studio for no money. But we then don't have the luxuries of temperature control, having the amount of space to do the things we want to do for you guys. So patreon.com/most valuable podcast is where you do that.
Itty tiny working space.
And for as low as $1, you can be in our Discord server. And what you can see is yesterday, Dave posted a picture. I came into this room. It was so humid that I was just sweating profusely on the forehead, and I didn't want to use my shirt to wipe off my head. Mm-hmm. So Sean opened up his umbrella, and I tried to use his umbrella to wipe the sweat off my forehead. So you can see a beautiful picture of me trying to do that. And then people like Jake, Soapy, Pat, all of our other Discord, Retro, all of them commenting to it because it's like, what the hell is Ricky doing? That's usually the question of the day. But for as low as $1, you can get that. And as $10, you can join a podcast and talk about what you would like to talk about. But Johnny, let's jump into this movie review. We went and saw Aladdin. Really good movie overall, I will say.
No, for sure.
The thing I'm going to say right away is, hey, Dumbo, that's how you do a movie remake.
For sure.
I know Dumbo wasn't the first one. I know Beauty and the Beast was our first Disney remake. Technically, Maleficent was our very first one. But Beauty and the Beast was good. Dumbo, I didn't like it personally. You can go check that out on our channel, on our podcast services around the world. I was not happy with the liberties that they took.
See, I was not happy. As a movie, it was good. As a remake, it was not so much.
Yeah, and that's where we agreed to disagree. But with Aladdin, I kind of feel like we're going to agree that this was a good movie. So I will ask you, what was your thoughts after seeing Aladdin?
I really liked it. Really much. I try and think of things.
I really liked it. Good night, everybody.
I'm trying to think what to say without going into spoiler mode. I guess mostly just who it's meant for is anyone.
It's exactly what you would think.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm
honestly happy with the liberty. I'm fine. I shouldn't say happy.
You're fine with the liberties.
I'm fine with the liberties they took because they still worked really well.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing coming out of the movie that I was like, I told you so, was we did a segment back when the basically Will Smith genie was shown for the first time, and everyone's freaking out. That's not my genie. Boycott Aladdin. Da 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 da. And I, on this podcast, was like, hey, let's see how it is. Let's see how it is in the movie, and if it's trash in the movie, then we
were on
trash
the
it.
same page. I was saying I did like the memes because they were funny, but I agree with you because there's one I found back then is Robin Williams would have wanted us to go and enjoy it.
Basically. And
So,
guess what? Will Smith did a good job. The genie was not bad as a character in this. So it's basically hey, I told you so. Let's go and see the movie, see how it is before we start critiquing.
Judge it after you see the movie, not before.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right for this. This is one where non-spoiler mode is kind of
Gonna be
a little
short.
shorter. Like, the thing that I will say is, and this is kind of giving away my rating a little bit, but it's not too much. It only takes one number out of the faction. Is it a perfect movie? No. There are things about this movie where I will say, from my standpoint, and you kind of rolled your eyes when I said this, I am kind of an Aladdin purist. And that is because Aladdin is my favorite, like, my absolute favorite Disney movie. Like, no other Disney movie is going to touch Aladdin. Also, because of that, Aladdin has kind of been the character that I've latched myself to, where it would be like Batman and DC. That's who I want to be in the DC universe. Aladdin's who I want to be in the kind of like Disney animated movie universe is Aladdin. So like, this is one where now the Liberties, I wasn't like, oh, F this and F that. There were a couple things in this that I was like, you know what? Kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Not like a rub me the wrong way as like, how do I even say this? It made me uncomfortable, but it was more of like a stylistic thing rather than a, this is not good. So it wasn't that it wasn't good. It was just some of the things they did with the Aladdin character himself, especially at the beginning. I was sitting there as this Aladdin purist going, okay, I get what you're doing, but I'm kind of not a fan of it. So that's why for me, it's not a perfect movie where other people might be like, yeah, it's a 5 out of 5. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I was fine with the
because you're on the other side. You're not an Aladdin purist.
No, I'm not. But I mean, there's a lot. I like all the Disney movies for the most part.
Well, you got a favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's between Hercules and Mulan. So
Okay.
Those are my two. It's hard for me to pick between
You
the
see
two.
yourself being a great Mulan, Johnny?
Hell yeah, I do.
Is that what you see? You got that girl worth fighting for, Johnny? You got that girl worth fighting for? But,
I wish.
But let's jump... Johnny, I wish. But let's jump into spoiler mode. And before we do, I'll warn you guys. So if you have not seen the Aladdin remake, you want to go see it, hit pause.
Go see
we
it.
will wait here as long... Oh, yeah.
Go see
That's
it.
another thing. Should people go see it?
Yes.
Should they go see it?
Go take your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your dog, if you want to. That's kind of a weird date, but okay.
Because I forgot that, hey, man, take your dog. I'll take my dog to go see A Dog's Journey. Basically, me and Buddy sitting there watching it. I don't know if the dog dies in that movie. Like I'm talking like heartbreaking. Like
I think he
like there was a
over and over again, actually.
Yeah, but there was a trailer for before Aladdin with a dog called Enzo, where Kevin Costner is playing the dog.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I saw it from the like writers or producers of Marley and Me, Dave and I made the same reaction of like, well, we're gonna cry. We're gonna cry during that movie. Because Marley and Me fucking bawled my eyes out during that. I was like, Owen Wilson makes you laugh for the whole movie, and then you bawl your eyes out. What the hell is this? I didn't sign up for that. But that's kind of what you remind me of. I would say go see this in theaters also. This is not one where you can like, I'll wait for Netflix. I'll wait for Disney Plus. Go see it. Go take someone. It's a nice date movie, especially for people our age who grew up with these Disney movies. But let's jump into spoiler mode, Johnny. And the first thing I want to get off the table, completely off the table, is the very beginning. Because there was some give and take with the beginning. Where first off, the very beginning, they, boom, showed us their liberty right away. Where We weren't in the desert. We were not with the original genie merchant that was basically the voice of Robin Williams doing the merchant. We had a boat.
Yep.
And Will Smith's genie was on the boat. And he had a family. And you're thinking, oh, like at the beginning of the movie, you're thinking, oh, is this like the same thing where
I'm thinking, oh, this is like the twisted, like
this is him, like, and he's like, I will tell you a story of Aladdin, the princess, and the lamp, and that's how they get into it.
When I'll have to say my thought during that was like,
I was gonna get into that because you right away when we showed the water and the boats, I looked over at you and you just went, huh, like a Johnny is very concerned for a second.
well, I wanted to make sure for one that we were getting our intro song to that because I'm like,
as soon
Arabian
as that
Nights.
kicked in, Johnny's like, okay, I'm good.
I can relax. But it's like, this is an interesting twist because in the cartoon it starts off in the marketplace and it's got that little dude
The merchant
that talks funny. I mean, I'm like, okay, so this is their version of doing it because he's like, they got into it. They made it Will Smith of like, okay. And then like, oh, well, fuck it. We got Will Smith on budget. May as well also have him do this character. Thinking like, okay, it's the guy telling the story.
You didn't think it was the genie.
The actual genie, yeah.
See, I did. And the reason why was when you think about the original, there is a fan theory that has been proven true, is that the merchant at the beginning of the original Aladdin is the genie. And I mean, the thing that I like what they did with this now that I'm thinking is they didn't make it the exact merchant because how could they? That's Robin Williams' genie.
Exactly.
That is the merchant.
No, and I'm fine with the. It's just like I was like, okay, we're like my.
You just wanted Arabian Nights.
I wanted Arabian Nights, but my was okay. So this is the route they're taking it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was like, oh, this is a guy telling a story, like when someone tells the story of, goddamn, 1,000. I forgot any of those stories actually now off the top of my head.
What you're talking about, like the Alibaba and 1,000 Thieves? Alibaba had 1,000 Thieves, right? I'm trying to think.
Scheherazade had 1,000 tales.
That's it.
Like the Scheherazade's 1,000 tales, and it's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like Scheherazade's 1,000 tales. He's got all these stories. He's gonna tell his children's story together. Nope, it's actually, and then like rounds out all together. Like, oh, shit, that is Genie. Because I'm like. Even like throughout the movie, I didn't even think back to that. It's like, okay, this is just like, hey, I'm gonna make myself the genie in this story, blah 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 blah. Because obviously he's not gonna make himself the main character. Yeah,
I kind of, and yet again, this is me with the whole Aladdin thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that fan theory either.
I totally was like, all right, this is this is how they're doing the whole merchant genie thing of like. That's the genie. Now, the interesting thing about it, we'll just go straight into this because they're connected.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because this was a change from the original, where in the original, Genie, I will set you free. The cuffs come off.
He's still a genie.
He's still a genie, but he could change his appearance.
He doesn't serve anyone.
He doesn't serve anyone, but he could change his appearance into like the tan skin genie.
Yeah.
If he wanted to. And of course, Robin Williams' great job of like packing the suitcase. I'm going to go here and here and here. And oh, don't worry. I'll be back, kid. I'll be back. I ain't leaving you forever. I got to see the world, basically. Where this genie, they kind of changed it. It wasn't I have to see the world, because they did mention a lot about other masters. So yeah. I'm assuming he's been all over. But the thing that they more focused on this one was him becoming a human.
Yes.
And he became a human at the end and also had a love interest, which was the handmaiden, through the entire thing. This wasn't something for me that was a huge, like, rub you the wrong way type thing. But at times I was like, is the genie, a genie capable of feeling, I guess he is capable of feeling that emotion, because like in the original, he felt a certain type of love and care for Aladdin.
Exactly.
That he wanted him to be okay.
It's not like he's inhuman.
It's just like interspecies relationship, basically.
In a sense.
Yeah.
At that moment, yeah, until he turns human, then it's not interspecies anymore.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing of, I kind of didn't like that he became a full human. at the end of it.
See, I was fine with it because I don't think they want to do an Aladdin 2 live action, which is like, okay, fine. It's like they wrapped it up a little bit more than the other one because the other one left it open for Aladdin 2, Aladdin 3, 4, and 5. Aren't there 5 of them, right?
I don't know. I stopped after 2. There was 2 and then the TV series.
There's TV series. There was also Aladdin Prince of Thieves. So I know there were at least 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
Because the second one was Return of Jafar.
Let's be honest. All those Disney sequels, they're not as good as the original.
No, absolutely not.
So it's I'm just going to watch
I actually started watching Mulan 2 and stopped halfway through.
Mulan 2 is one of the worst. Like, whenever you talk about, like, worst sequels, Mulan 2 is up
awful.
there. Yeah, Mulan 2 is one of the worst ones.
I don't usually, like, stop a movie halfway through just because I don't like it. I stopped it halfway through because I didn't like it.
Well, and with Aladdin 2, the interesting thing, and I know this is kind of like a history lesson now, and away from the remake, is the thing with Aladdin that kind of changed their sequels is Robin Williams is not the voice of the genie after that first one, because I'm going to get one of these details wrong, so someone in the comment section who knows and has read this also, correct me and fill in the blanks. But apparently there was... Robin Williams was coming out with a different movie at the same time called Toys.
Yes.
That was kind of like a passion project for him. And basically he made a deal with Disney that he didn't want, like, his character to be in... He didn't want the genie to be in commercials. He was fine doing the movie, but he didn't want, like...
The genie being, like, the big part.
He didn't want them to advertise that Robin Williams was the genie because he didn't want it to take away from the movies that he was doing. And Disney was like, oh, yeah, no problem. And then after he recorded all his stuff and left, they were basically like, yeah, we need to sell this movie, put him in the fucking trailer. And that did not rubbed Robin Williams the wrong way, because created that.
There was also something about the poster that made they made the genie a bigger part. He's like, don't make me the biggest part of the poster.
So they said, don't make me. Oh, what was it? Don't make me like the biggest part of the poster. But when you look at the poster, they made him a third of the poster because the genie is the entire top third of the poster.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey,
floating above everything.
Don't make me the only thing on the poster. Oh, no, we won't. But they made him a third of the poster.
Yeah.
Which also rubbed him the wrong way. But that's kind of like with those, why we didn't get Genie in those. We got Genie, we just didn't get
Robin Williams. Which is impressive that they found Robin Williams standing like that. I mean,
even with Kingdom Hearts, I don't think we had Robin Williams in Kingdom Hearts.
That one I didn't play enough of it to know.
I think the only time he came back to do the Genie was for like educational purpose things. Like the beginning ABC of those Family, like Saturday morning cartoon educational things. But back to the original Genie, I don't know. It just, for me, I feel like the one thing with the Genie that they could have done that would have made me more okay with him being a human is if they kind of set up the rules for that. Because there's not really rules with this set up to where it's like when they said, oh, when you're free, he could have just mentioned, oh, yeah, well, when I'm free, I lose all the powers of the
Maybe
Genie.
he didn't know?
Maybe, but like yet again, it's
a lot of gray area in there.
Yeah, a lot of gray area in there. But like part of me is like, that was one thing that I'm like, I would rather have him have kept his powers as
Genie.
The Genie
probably makes like life a little too easy then. And my guess would be like, if you're not a genie, you don't get them powers. Because just think about it. Right before Jafar, when I'm glad they did the same Aladdin trick and everything. Like, see, he's more powerful than you. And then Will Smith starts to get, oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Because at first he's trying to go, no, don't. What are you doing?
Don't do that. Don't do that at all. That's the other character we'll jump to. What'd you think of Jafar?
I liked him overall.
Here's the thing I'm thinking.
Still
with
the
Jafar.
conniving little weasel. Snake. I'll go with Snake because that's what he themes himself off of. Snake he always was.
So we were talking.
Yeah.
And not to give anything away, but we already know who our show stealers are going to be.
Yeah, we do.
And I'll spoil this. Jafar is not one of them. But like for me, when I ranked mine to you, I said
was number
Jafar would
3.
be my third. And the thing that I'm thinking, and I just thought about this before the podcast, right before we hit the record button. One of the big things you have said that this movie didn't have that you wanted was the Prince Ali reprisal.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I just thought of after we listened to the reprise and to the original one before this podcast. I think the reason they left it out is because it didn't fit this Jafar's character. Where the Jafar from the original was more of a, like, I want to say more of a musical character, where this one was more of like the rigid, where it's like, Genie, that's the guy? Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah. I mean, this one was a more rigid version. Like, where the other one just was about power and becoming
But, like,
Sultan.
Even as you felt
This one
like
was strictly about power.
you felt like the original Jafar had more, I would say had more personality than this Jafar.
In a sense, yeah.
This Jafar was more cut and dry. This is what it is, black and white, da-da-da. Like,
yeah, well,
that's it.
like you said, this one was a little bit more warmongering in a sense.
Exactly. Like really wanted to invade countries.
He wanted power, whereas the other one wanted more so like power, but he wanted to be Sultan was the big goal.
Yeah, he was jealous
Like
of
he didn't want the world, he wanted Agrabah.
yeah. And
Whereas this one, he wanted the world.
well, and it fit, to me, I think it fits the type of Sultan too. Where
Yeah.
in the original, we had the chubby, fun-loving Sultan, where basically that Jafar could sit there and go,
more
I am
pushover-y.
jealous of you because you don't deserve this. Where this version Sultan was a little bit more Sultan-like.
Yeah, he's a little more rigid. I mean, he had the qualities of the other one, but with a little bit more sultanness to it this time, like you said.
He was not very fun-loving. I would say at the beginning, at least, too.
Not as the one we had.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they kind of made that choice maybe because of the type of Sultan that they were dealing with. They weren't dealing with the exact one. But yeah, like Jafar, I had that thought of it didn't fit his personality. Also, they kind of mixed some things up at the end.
Yeah, when you said that part, and reminded me that like, yeah, that happened before. They could have done that. It's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you're right. They couldn't have made it fit because he it's like that same scene. First, he showed in the cartoon
In the throne room. I'm talking about the remake. You talk about the original.
The original. First, he shows that this is Aladdin, not Prince Ali.
Yeah.
And then sends him. But in the other one, Aladdin goes to steal the lamp. Pushes, sends him away.
Yeah, to the ends of the earth.
And then later shows that he's Aladdin, not Prince Ali.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a little mixed up with that, but I agree with you. I would have loved a little.
I would have,
Prince
but I
Ali
get why it
reprise.
didn't fit in this one.
I will ask you.
Now that you pointed it out.
Is there anything that I'll ask you this. Best song. What was
Best
your
song.
favorite song from this if you have to pick one? Because we had, obviously, they had One Jump. They had Friend Like Me, Prince Ali. The new one that they had in there was Jasmine had her own Speechless, which, just absolutely breathtaking of a song. Like, I did not expect Naomi Scott to be able to have pipes. The golden pipes. I didn't expect, Jasmine, I guess, could have golden pipes. Like, she's got gold everything. But, I mean, the golden pipes that Naomi Scott had just blew me away. Especially with the Speechless reprise.
To me, it's one of the two Genie songs, because I like how Will Smith
did his own take.
Sort of did like the original, but like in certain aspects did his own take. Like there's a lot of like, hey, this is from the original, and then like, hey, little pieces of it that like, so he didn't go, oh, I'm gonna try to Robin Williams it. No, he did his own thing to it, and I'm like, okay, cool.
There were that's the thing that if I had to choose between the Genie songs, Friend Like Me was the best one.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because that one also had like the little beginning of like, Abu with the monkey symbols, and he starts singing, and he goes, nope, not good enough, and then bam, gives them a drum set and a trumpet, and then we get real.
I did like that little intro, like, oh hey, look what I can do.
I also like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference, where it was after they escaped the cave.
Yeah.
Where he goes, and now your second wish. No. I never made that first wish. All right, let's look at the tape. And it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000, where he sees the replay, and it's like Genie and the audience watching it in front.
I missed that part.
No, it was when he was doing the replay.
I missed that I missed that they were sitting there.
Oh yeah, it was like a full theater.
Yeah.
Of like people with back of the heads. And he goes, "Oh, the behind the back, give the lamp to the monkey trick. Not gonna fall for that one again." I like that, where it was like Genie kind of in the audience, out, like we saw it in 3D, so the Genie's kind of out at you.
Yeah.
Kind of talking to you. Were there anything in this movie that you didn't like?
Nothing big, honestly. Like I said, I was a little sad we didn't get the
reprise.
The reprise, but I get, like, especially when we listen to it again, and like, that's right, it doesn't fit in the order that the movie went. Not a whole lot that I didn't like about this movie.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, you're gonna go with One Jump.
One Jump. Totally, like, if I were to go worst song of the whole thing, One Jump, because exactly what you had said before we hit record was one of the reasons why I didn't like it, were the pauses were just way too exaggerated. Plus, I felt like and this kind of goes into my only negative with the whole film as a whole, the Aladdin character, he didn't hit his stride right away. We're like early on, I'm like sitting there going, I don't know about this Aladdin guy. Like, I don't know about this choice for Aladdin. It doesn't even seem like, I'm a little bit uneasy with Aladdin. Then as the movie goes on, I would say basically from Friend Like Me on, it's like, boom, he finds his kind of niche as Aladdin. And that's another thing too of like, I wonder what order they filmed these scenes, because I wouldn't be shocked if they did the jump, one jump and beginning of the movie first, because it seemed very, I don't know, like we're not locked in yet. And then Friend Like Me happens, boom. All right, we're locked into Aladdin. And after that point, I had no problem with the Aladdin character.
See, like, the only thing I didn't like with when it comes to One Jump, and I liked One Jump itself, is when his reprise of One Jump both times were like a little choppy to me.
Yeah, I'm
like, his One Jump to me was fine. It's his One Jump reprises that were like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too is, I think the problem with me with One Jump also is, like Dave mentioned, where the thing he liked with the beginning was he was like, oh, that's a Guy Ritchie chase scene.
Yeah, with slow motion kind of stuff in there a little bit.
The thing I'm kind of wondering is, was it too much to try to add in to that, where it's like, hey, I want to have everything that a Guy Ritchie chase scene has, but we also have to have it be a musical number as One Jump. And that's what I'm wondering. Trying to balance the two of, and basically keeping them true to what they should be. Not taking something, like not leaving out something from the Guy Ritchie chase scene part because we got to make it musical, but also not taking away anything from the musical aspect because we got to do it this way because it's the Guy Ritchie style. Did you at least like
the chase scene with One Jump?
Yes.
Okay.
I felt like, for me,
so it's more the musicality of One Jump you didn't like?
If I were to put my thought into it, I felt like if we were doing two weights and we wanted it to be even, there might have been more emphasis on the Guy Ritchie chase scene, making it look like that, and they sacrificed the musically song because of that. Because like there were also in other songs that didn't bug me. Like, and this one, I'm not saying it bugged me. this way, but they did change the lyrics on some of the songs.
Yeah,
they
like Friend Like Me a little
lyrics.
bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, they took even liberties with the songs. I just felt like those two things never locked in, where it was more of like, hey, if we have to choose one or the other, I'm going to choose the chase scene looking really good.
Yeah.
And I even had to remember, like, because with whole him and Jasmine thing, like that chase scene was very nice when they're kind of like running through everything.
Yeah.
And he does the thing with the carpet where he throws it but swings into.
So they think he landed inside the shop.
Exactly. Like that was really cool. For me, I thought One Jump could have been a little bit stronger, if you know what I mean.
You know what I want? Oh, go ahead. No, finish. Finish. No, finish your One Jump.
I was going on to the next thing. You go into what you want while I hit the camera.
No, I was going to say, I wanted next to bring up, since we're talking music and stuff, Whole New World. Beautiful. I just want to like get that one out there so we can get on that topic real quick because it's not going to be long. But
well, here I want to ask you this.
Beautiful again.
My students asked me the same thing.
Yeah.
Because they released online the song, like the studio version of it, and my students were like, "Oh my God, have you heard it? It's so great." And there's part of me that's like, nothing will beat the original. I want to ask you, if you had to choose which version you liked better, remake or original for Whole New World, because I am going to be that Aladdin purist.
And say original.
Nothing beats the original. Nothing beats the original, although it was really good.
Tell me it's not really close, though.
Oh, it's close, but the original to me is just, there's something about it where, especially like that studio version where you see those two the original actor and actress for Aladdin and Jasmine doing it, it's just something else. What would you pick, though?
I probably would pick the original, but I have to say this one is really close. This one was still really good. I still got like, there's certain songs, and that's one of them that I actually point out to you. I got chills during them.
Yeah. It was because the thing that...
And it's like those goosebumps of like a good song.
Well, and I think the whole thing, too, is it was something to where, like I said, at that point, Aladdin had kind of locked into his own.
Yeah.
But also, I gotta say, there was something about Naomi Scott in this, where she was just not only very believable as Jasmine, like spot on casting for her as Jasmine, because she to me hit everything that I wanted from the original Jasmine, where the thing with the original Jasmine is her personality was, she cares about the people. She's a very nice person, but she's got that kind of, I kind of want to say killer instinct, but she's also got that fight in her.
Yeah, she got a really strong side to it.
Yes, to where she's not someone that's just going to back down.
She's an independent woman who don't need no man.
She's an independent woman who don't need no man. And that's why I also love the part where the genie's like, yeah, you can just wish that I can make this rule just disappear. And Aladdin, you could see the look on his face like, why didn't you tell me that when we were out in the desert? I would have just done that instead of making me a prince.
Right?
That would have totally changed everything. Hey, could you just get rid of that rule? Yeah, cool.
Oh,
I'm going to go marry Jasmine now. I do also like how we had the little, yet again, from the original, where you had that kind of tension of, the power's going to Aladdin's head.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, I'm Prince Ali. I'll never have to be Aladdin again. Like, I'm Prince Ali. Like, this is who I am now.
Oh, you can drink from that cup.
Yeah. No, you're drinking from that cup. But yeah, the best scene with Naomi Scott, I will say, was the speechless reprise. Absolutely loved how they shot it also. Where it was basically a guards taking her out, everything freezes, and then she turns, she's walking towards the throne, singing this song, singing it, and then everything snaps back to where she was, and that's when she turns around, Jafar, and it's like, oh my God, that scene was awesome. Like, not even just
when
the
she calls
song.
to the top, Azir, I think it was, the top guard.
That's right, Azir. And then she does that whole speech where it was basically everything she just sang. She wasn't moving. That was happening all in her head. And I was like, oh, man, that was fucking awesome. That was just awesome. That was a really good song. Because overall, the filmmaking of this was great, too. The chase scene at the beginning, Friend Like Me with everything that, like...
I love that we got the almost exact ending of Friend Like Me that we get in the cartoon, because...
Where he's like... Dun.
He's like this, but it's like you got the neon Arabian castle, elephants on the elephants on the ball? The balls?
Yeah. No, you're
bouncing on the balls. Like you got some animals, like giraffes with other animals like stacked on top of them.
Yeah.
The whole shebang. You get that whole thing in CGI. I'm like, this looks phenomenal.
Did I go a little bit over the board with the backflip?
Yeah,
a little over the board with the backflip. The Aladdin dance scene.
Yeah, that was great.
The genie just... I just thought that, like, Will Smith was amazing in this one. The chemistry...
Yes, he was.
Like, and that's what I wonder, too, is... You know how I said Aladdin didn't lock in as Aladdin until Friend Like Me? Basically, that's me saying Aladdin didn't lock in as Aladdin until he had the genie to play off of.
Yeah.
I'll say Aladdin on his own in this one. Aladdin with the genie, ding, 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 right on. I was not a fan of him by himself. He was Aladdin. Even the Naomi Scott scene, I will say, he was a much better Aladdin.
When he had someone to play off as, basically what you're saying.
Someone else to play off of. If it was him by himself.
Oh, the monkey wasn't good enough for you?
Yeah, the monkey was not good enough for me.
I didn't steal it.
I did love Abu, though. I did love Abu. The last thing I want to ask you before Show Stealer is Iago. One of the big things we talked about were how they were going to do Iago.
Yeah.
Were you happy with how they did Iago in this film?
Yeah, actually I am.
Because that was one of our big criticisms. Is how are you going to do it without Gilbert Gottfried?
I know. I was a little sad that, like, I mean, for not being Gilbert Gottfried, like, full speech parrot, he had some goddamn sass.
Yeah, well,
I like that.
They got Alan, what's his name? Alan Tudyk?
I don't remember his name, I'll be honest.
Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
I have this sort of in front of me that I could look his name up.
K2 from Rogue One. Mr. Nobody from Doom Patrol.
Really? He's not on here?
I'm listing off all of his roles. You know who he is.
No, I'm more so just make sure you got the name
Iago.
right, like you were asking.
Oh, it's just how do I pronounce it? I have no idea how to pronounce it because it's a weird spelling. It's like Tyvauk or something like that, or Tyavuk, something like that.
I'm looking for Iago, Tudyk.
That's it. So it's
Tudyk. I think it's
Tudyk. He did a great job as Iago. Plus, that Iago fit with this Jafar.
It did.
Where we had a more goofy Jafar or a more flamboyant, that's what the word I'll use, more flamboyant Jafar in the original. So that's why we could have a Gilbert Gottfried in this one. It wouldn't have fit having a Gilbert Gottfried type of Iago.
No, and like there was he still had enough sass to where...
And also big... Birds of Prey Iago was amazing.
Yes, that was cool.
Last thing I will say, forgot to mention this, is a slight negative from this film. When they made Jafar a genie, I know what they were doing. They made him look more humanistic with just like a red hue. I really wanted them to basically do and make him like Genie when he came out of the lamp. Where it was basically CGI red, that vibrant red, where it wasn't like, oh, I look like a human still with the genie bottom and there's a red hue.
Like he had a red.
I wanted you know how we had CGI blue genie? I wanted CGI red genie with the goatee beard.
He wasn't red like your shirt. He was red like...
it was a slight hue.
It was darker red,
yeah.
Which is why... It didn't look like he was as red like you're thinking.
See, and this is the thing.
But he did. He was red.
But here's the thing I don't think you and Dave were understanding.
Yeah.
Is I didn't even want him to look like a human.
You want to be the full-out genie at the end of the cartoon.
Like what we got from Will Smith's genie when he came out of the lamp. That but blue. Or that but red with the
You still
kind
want
of,
like him to have the hair thing, the points,
the black hair. It had the black like
genie beard.
but it was more of like in the Jafar style. Like that is what I wanted. It wasn't a huge thing of like, oh, this movie sucks, but that was one thing where I'm like,
well, I mean, he also didn't have the original Jafar.
Yeah,
beard.
But
He just had the.
I mean, and
facial hair,
his style, obviously.
Yeah.
But that is what I was kind of rooting for, and like how you didn't get the reprise, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
That's how it was. But we will end the podcast doing what we always do. Johnny, I'll let you go first. Who is your show stealer? What went into your thought process this time, and why?
You gotta have a friend like me, Genie, Will Smith. Mm-hmm. Both songs great. He actually kind of made it feel like the same as the Robin Williams
Mm-hmm.
one did, but in his own way.
There were people that did say the only negative about him was when the parts where he tried to do the line exactly like Robin Williams,
Exactly.
it fell short.
Yeah, and what was that? Maybe 2 times he actually tried to do it like Robin Williams.
Maybe 3.
Maybe.
Because they put in the same exact line.
And that's like, even some of the ones that they put the same exact line in, when he put his own twist on it, great. I actually liked it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, I know they brought kind of, I think it's because of him. A lot of the things they brought in sort of like, they had like a Middle East type style, songs and dances, but they threw in the hip hop version of that too.
Which was beautiful.
Like, they combined the two, and I'm like, I even said it in the theater, like, I actually really like that they kind of mashed those together for certain scenes.
One thing I forgot to mention with that is the whole scenery with Agrabah and the palace, phenomenal. Like the opening scene with Arabian Nights where they're taking us through everything, come up exactly like it does in the classic movie.
Yeah.
It was just one of those check boxes that I was like, check. We've got it. It's done. For me, I'm going to go with a little bit of a different flair.
Yeah, go for it.
And this is actually going to be, let's see,
You're wrong, but you go for it. No, I'm kidding.
This is the second, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have given a show stealer to 4 female actresses.
Mm-hmm.
I have only given the show stealer to 2 female actresses. It was Rosa Salazar in Alita.
We both gave it to her, yeah.
Jette Lawrence in Pet Sematary. So this is also the first time, because both times I picked a female actress, we've both gone the same way.
Yeah.
I think you guys know by me saying female actress who I'm going with. It's Naomi Scott.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is...
I thought it was The Handmaiden. My bad.
Oh, yeah, The Handmaiden.
Nazim Pedrad?
Yeah. The thing that I will say is this was a very hard choice. I only made this choice like yesterday. And we recorded this on Sunday. We saw the movie Friday. So it took me some time. But this is my thought process with it. Early on in the film, I was like, wow, Naomi Scott's really good as Jasmine. Like she's the best thing I'm seeing so far with like her acting and everything. And then Friend Like Me hit. And it was like, literally, I got pushed back to my chair like, whoa, okay, Will, way to steal the show. He's got it. No way he is getting this thing taken away from him. And he had it all the way through. He's holding on to that show steal. It's basically like, think about a sports game where it's like Will Smith had the lead for the entire movie. He had it. And then we got the speed. We first got a Whole New World, which I was like, ooh, that was really good, but didn't do enough. But she closed the gap a little bit. Then we got the Speechless reprise. And after that Speechless reprise, I was like, oh. It was one of those where Will Smith had the lead. Naomi Scott did just enough at the end to surpass Will Smith. Like, it was basically a neck-and-neck race between them. And it was going to be whoever wowed me before the before the credits hit was going to win this. And that was Naomi Scott. She did the last big hurrah, wowed me. And that's how she lit. Like, this is literally, we call it a show stealer. This was literally stealing the show.
Yeah.
Like, literally stole the show for me because she did it right at the very end. First time I've ever had this happen with one of our show stealers. That's why I'm going to go Naomi Scott. You obviously went Will Smith. Now on to our ratings. How many lamps you giving it, Johnny?
No, what? Because I was thinking like was bouncing between two scores, and obviously it's going to be up there as we talked about before. Before I actually say what it is, I'm going to say why.
Okay.
I'm going to do my why first and then what it is.
Okay.
So
I also want to know the two after you say your score.
I will. I think it's going to be obvious once I say what my score is.
True. I already think I know what it's going to be, but go ahead.
Because my little gripes per se were not that big, honestly. They're so small that like they didn't really have enough to take away points. I'm not going to be that guy that does a 0.25, 0.75. I'm going to actually give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah.
It was either between that or a 4.5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to go the other route. I'm going to give it a 4.5. And the reason being is, so here's the tricky thing.
Yeah.
About this rating. And some people are going to look at it and go, a little contradictory, Ricky. I will say this, little disclaimer first. If I could go back and retro score some of the movies that we saw in, what would this be, 2017? Yeah, that we saw in 2017, I would change my score for some of those movies. Because that was the first year we did movie reviews.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, Logan, Guardians, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Kingsman, Thor Ragnarok, Beauty and the Beast, American Made, 8 5s?
Yeah.
8 5s were this year alone. We've seen how many movies so far? This is going to be our, 15th, 16th movie, depending on where it is with Brightburn. And this year I've only given out 2 5s. And that was Avengers Endgame and Shazam. I'm going to say 4.5 just because of the little gripes that I had. Mainly the beginning with One Jump, Aladdin, and that's the main thing that bumps it down 0.5 for me. But the thing I am going to say, why I mentioned the first part, is I gave Beauty and the Beast a 5. This was a better remake than Beauty and the Beast. I will say that. And that's where I think the little, you could say, hypocrisy comes in of Beauty and the Beast. How could that be a 5? This be a 4.5, but this is better than that. To be fair,
we are also, that was when our first year of trying to do reviews.
Exactly.
So we got our scaling better a little bit.
Exactly. Like, we've grown into this a little bit more, where it's not just like, oh, yeah, it was good. Liked it. Great movie. Give it a 5. And maybe that's me as the Aladdin purist being like, I'm just
Tell me most of those
down.
movies didn't deserve a 5 anyways, though.
Dumbo.
I'm talking about the
Disney.
2017 movies.
2017, and when I say change, if I changed any of those, I would probably knock down Kingsman, Guardians 2, Beauty and the Beast, American Made, maybe Wonder Woman. Maybe. So at least half of those, I would bump down to a 4 or a 4.5.
Exactly, but not by much.
It wouldn't be a lot, but it's they're just not a 5. Logan wouldn't change. Spider-Man, for me, I'm sorry, wouldn't change. Thor Ragnarok cannot change. I rewatched that one, at nauseum.
Same.
Infinity War Endgame when it comes out.
That's my go-to-sleep movie.
Because it's just so fucking funny.
It is. And it's I'm to the point where I don't need to watch it to know what the hell is going on.
Exactly. And that's exactly what a 5 would be. So, that's the only thing with this where I think this was a better remake than Beauty and the Beast. And I can't wait to see if Lion King later this year surpasses that bar. Because apparently the hype for Lion King is super high now.
Yeah.
After Aladdin. Any final thoughts you have before we wrap this up?
No, definitely go see this movie in theaters.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you have seen the movie, let us know what you think. If you haven't seen the movie, Are you going to go see it now after we basically spoiled the whole thing? Also, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast. That is how you help us get a new studio. I am sweating in this room, Johnny. Like, you might have seen me rub my nose quite a bit during this podcast. It is so hot in here from the humidity. I am getting nose sweats. I am getting nose sweats with how humid it is in here. So please help us get a new studio. Make sure that I don't sweat during these podcasts. I want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.